Greetings, Burn Community family. I'm Russ Charvonia, and I have the privilege of leading the Elisa Ann Roosh Burn Foundation as its president. I'm also a financial advisor, so it's my hope that I can help you to get focused on your finances. I've been a financial advisor for 40 years. Yeah, I started really young. Over those 4 decades, I've learned certain truths about money management. So here is a 10-step program to help you reach your financial success. Step number 1, it is never too soon to start planning and saving. The sooner we identify things for which we will want money down the road, the better the chance we will have of actually getting what we need when that time comes. Let me give you an example. Let's say you decide you need to buy a car right now, and so you get an auto loan. You'll pay on that loan every month for maybe 6 years. The alternative is that you could save for 5 years, the same amount of money each month, putting that money away, and then in 5 years' time, buy that car. And what you will have done is to have saved 1 full year's worth of payments. And that's then money that you can save for your next goal. So step number 1 again, start early. It's never too soon. Step number 2 relates to step number 1, and that is to minimize the use of debt. Only put on a charge card what you know you will be able to pay off when that bill arrives. In fact, there are really only 2 kinds of debt that I consider to be good debt, or decent debt, if you will. First is the debt used to buy a home. That's called a mortgage, and that's an okay loan to get when the time comes. The second kind of debt that's okay is that you need to obtain a college education, student loans, if you will. But even there, you need to be careful and try to minimize how much of debt you will end up graduating with. Step number 3, understand that there are only 2 sides of the equation, the income side and the expense side. So let's first look at income. How can we control or increase our income? First, don't be afraid of work. Find a way to market your skills. May it be in a better job, or even a sideline job, doing some freelancing. Or maybe you decide that it makes sense to get a second part-time job. Another thing you can do is try to negotiate incentive bonuses where you work. Really prove your value to your employer. And if I'm able to achieve these really terrific goals, will you be able to share some of those rewards with me as your employee? So that's the income side. And the key here is to be creative and to use your skills to increase the income side of that equation. The other aspect, of course, is controlling your expenses. And here that's entirely up to you. Now, I recognize that the word budget can be a 4-letter word, kind of like the word diet. And when you're on a diet, what do you want? Well, you want that you can't have. So I encourage you not to put yourself on a fiscal diet, so to speak, but rather just to get a good handle as to what it is that you need and want to spend money on. And that in that manner, you'll be able to find ways to control it without feeling like you're actually on a diet. The first way to control your expenses is to write everything down. Go through your checkbook register. If you bank online, go through there and see what your transactions are and what categories they fit into. Same thing if you use a credit card. Bunch those various expenses by type of category, such as groceries, insurance premiums, eating out, miscellaneous purchases, things like that. And then go through and figure out what you want each of those categories to actually end up being going forward. Once you determine all of that, you'll be able to see if your income is greater than your expenses, which is obviously a good thing, or in fact it's the other way around where you're spending more money than you're bringing in. If that's the case, again, we only have 2 sides of the transaction. We either need to reduce our expenses or increase our income. Strategy number 4, admit that emergencies do and will happen. We have to have cash reserves to account for these. If your car breaks down, or you need to find new housing, or your health suddenly throws you some curveballs. We need to have cash reserves, money that's set aside to pay for these unexpected expenses. Now, the textbooks tell you 3 or 6 months of either your income or your expenses. I suggest it needs to be an amount that helps you to sleep well at night. And don't worry about having that whole number right away. Just start to save some money for those emergencies that will arise, so you're not relying on relatives or credit cards to help to bail you out every time there's some kind of unforeseen expense. Step number 5, make it automatic. Set up an automated savings plan. The first thing you should be doing is contributing something, anything, to your employer-sponsored retirement plan, such as a 401k. This can be almost painless because it comes out of your paycheck before you have a chance to spend it. I also, if you contribute to your retirement plan, want you to consider the Roth option. And the way this works is the money that you put in goes in pre-tax. You don't get a tax benefit for the dollars you put in. But here's the beauty of the Roth option. When you retire and pull that money out, all of the money you put in, all the money your employer may have put in, plus all of the growth comes out tax-free. And after 40 or 50 years of working, you can amass an account worth millions of dollars. And to be able to pull part or some of that out tax-free is going to be a huge, huge bonanza for you. So besides your employer's retirement plan, consider setting up a payroll deduction plan. Here again, it'll come out of your paycheck before you ever have a chance to spend it. We all know the saying, out of sight, out of mind. And that way that money will be there when you actually need it. Step number 6, when the markets are down, don't look at your account. I know a lot of people love to go online and look at the values of their account, especially when it's going up. Sometimes they'll do that every day or every week or every month. Don't do that. You see, we all are human, therefore we fall victim to the only 2 human emotions, fear and greed. Oh, I know there's love and hate and all those other emotions. But the way I look at the world, there's only 2 human emotions, fear and greed. And fear causes us to do the wrong thing at the wrong time, as does greed. Greed, we want to buy more of it when it's going up, and fear causes us to sell out when it's going down. Exactly the opposite of what we should be doing, which is what? Buy low, sell high. Step number 7, manage your income tax withholding. I know we all love getting that big old tax refund come the beginning of the year, but that really isn't smart. Let's say you were expecting a refund of $1,000 and your car breaks down. You need that money now. Can you write to the IRS and say, hey folks, do me a favor and send me my refund early? I guarantee you they won't even read your request. So instead, modify your W-4 form so that you don't end up owing a bunch of money or getting a huge refund after the end of the year. Step number 8, take full advantage of your employer benefits. Look carefully at the health insurance offerings, any kind of flexible spending account they might have, and life or disability insurance. And as I said earlier, make sure you take advantage of any retirement plans that they offer to you. Step number 9, review your finances at least once a year. Now, I said earlier, don't go looking at your accounts too frequently, but make a point to sit down and analyze your income and your expenses and your goals and objectives at least once a year, and then write it down. Have you ever had that experience where as soon as you write something down, even if you don't look at it again, you come back, you look a year or so later, and you find out you actually achieved it? Same kind of thing with your money. So review your finances annually, write down what you're going to change, what you're going to implement, and I guarantee it will help you to accomplish your goals. In fact, do yourself a favor. Go into your calendar right now and put down the time you're going to evaluate your finances, and then put a recurring date so that it happens a year from now. Step number 10, learn from others. There are great examples in your lives that you can emulate, and others that would better serve as cautionary tales. Your parents, your friends, other professionals, you've all seen people who handle their finances really, really well. And let's make sure we learn from those folks. And then you've seen the disasters, if you will. Well, we can learn from those people as well. Also read. Read everything you can get your hands on, and you will learn an awful lot about proper financial management. Step number 11. Well, wait a minute. I said this was a 10-step program. Well, I decided to add an 11th step. And this one is simply own it. Only you can make your financial situation better. So I hope these 10 tips that I've given you will help you to do just that. I promise you can do this. The key is to take action and take action now. Be well, everybody.